All right, guys, welcome back to the Backseat Drivers podcast. Let's just jump right into what we think. We'll get our segments out of the way. We'll do real driver of the day. I'm going Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah, you went the easy route.
Yeah. I just think it's not so much the easy route. I just think that the entire weekend was flawless for him. He performed insanely well, especially under pressure. Like he held off Lewis at that start, and Kimi notoriously struggles with the starts. He always comes off a little bit slower than everyone else. But today, that second restart, that standing restart that they did at the end, I was fully sitting on the edge of my seat. I was expecting Lewis to just take off and end up having this huge battle, as much of a battle as you can get in Monaco, to win the race, because there was only 8 more laps. But that's who I went with, and that's my reasoning. What about you?
Okay. For me, I think it's Lewis because Monaco is good at showing us one thing, and that's how bad your car really is in a time trial. And for Kimi to pull out a second and a half immediately, like after leaving the line, just tells you how much work like Ferrari has to do. And the reason why the Ferrari was there, even though they were 1.5 seconds behind, like it just tells you a lot. Like, yes, Monaco helped them out, but the fact that Lewis is on the rise, like this is his second place in a row. He's putting some pressure. He needs the car. The car needs to get better fast. If they want to do something, they need to get better. But just the fact that he's still there, that he knows his car is slower, but he's still there, just shows me that this is where his driving is coming up. And I'm not like a Lewis fan, but to me, it's really impressive that you're making a machine that should be in 4th or 5th, come in 2nd twice now in a row. So Ferrari, you need to get your head out of your ass and fix the car.
I do agree that the car itself is holding Lewis back. I will say I was a little bit bummed. I'm glad that he got P2, but I'm just bummed that we didn't get to see a full GP where Max was also there, because let's not forget Max was P2. That was insane for reliability to go down like that for Max. He was having a good weekend. He was hot. He was fast, crazy fast. And then that shit happened. I was like, a little bit in my head, I was like, hell yeah, good. But then looking at it through an actual fan perspective, not just a Lewis fan, but an F1 perspective, I was like, this could have been so much better if that didn't happen. Maybe Kimi wouldn't have got it. You never know.
Yeah. For me, like I agree with that. I think that the race would have had a lot more pressure. Kimi would have had a lot more pressure with Max behind him. But I also believe that like the we'll get into what I think about Monaco in general, but for me the biggest loser was Leclerc. We talked about it previous to the race, and I was like telling you, making fun of Leclerc because I'm like, that boy's got a curse. He cannot get anything right in Monaco. Like, you must have had a really perfect weekend in 2024. You qualified first, so which basically hands you the race unless you do something to shoot yourself in the foot, which is probably why you won it, which is what most of the winners have done. I mean, there are some exceptions, but Leclerc crashing out again in Monaco, it's like there's no bigger loser than that. It's your home race. You're actually
Born and
from
raised.
Monte Carlo. He lived a few blocks away, and you can never. You've only gotten one decent race in like all the years you've been in Formula
his whole
1.
career. Yeah,
It's like, dude, you need to get it out of your system. You need to realize that just because you should enjoy this race, not put extra pressure on yourself.
I wanted to actually introduce a new segment, because there's always one in every race, but I'm gonna call it the biggest fuck up, and that was Stroll
Oh my
because of
god!
course
I knew that
no
was
no
coming.
no
When you
no
said
no
that, I knew
no
you were gonna say
no dude,
Stroll.
because it's I literally wrote in my notes, I knew Stroll would be the dumbass to reset the fucking grid in Monaco. I wrote that in my notes, and I just think that had Stroll not done that, it would have everybody would have, a lot of penalties would have not happened. First of all, for a lot of drivers that some already had it right. That fuck up did help Lewis to serve his 5, but Ferrari once again fucking up the strategy. Why would you pit? And I love Lewis, dude, but why would you pit the one that has a penalty and then try to double stack the teammate that doesn't? Put Charles first, and then Lewis can come in and serve his 5 seconds. Like, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong because of fucking Stroll. Okay? I did want to introduce that as an idea for the new thing, is the biggest fuck up, because sometimes those fuck ups are what change completely how this would have ended, and that definitely did today. It added more entertainment as well, so it's like
I think
fuck you, Stroll, but thank you also, because you made it a little bit more bearable to watch this race. It was a nice change of everything.
I think Stroll's gonna come up champion of the world on the in that category if we make this happen. Like,
I know, but it'd be funny.
but at the same time, it's like sometimes we need things like this to happen in races, and I'm okay with Stroll being the fuck up all the time because I honestly feel he shouldn't be there. So
Yeah,
I'm
he
good with
shouldn't.
that. I want to talk about Monaco in general. Like, to me, I don't think Monaco is entertaining if it didn't have all these accidents, all these cars messing up. If there isn't any rain and everyone has a
No
solid race,
DNFs.
no DNFs. Like, Monaco's
Ass.
boring.
It's ass.
Monaco's boring.
Yeah.
There's no that you can't get any passing, and when you do get some passing, yeah, it's like whoa, because it's a track that you can't really pass on. But we noticed today, like, again, we noticed today again. Yes, it's millimetric. Yes, it's designed to push the car into tighter, faster, a circuit like that where the driver has to be more aware. But you take what everybody's complaining about, you completely took it out. Like, everyone's complaining about the yo-yo passing and the Mario Kart passing. You completely took it out, and let's be honest, the only reason why the race was entertaining was because there was crashes
DNF.
and DNFs. Like, that was it. There, other than that, we had 40, 50 laps of like the same shit, like we
Right.
always do.
And I mean, I understand why they took out some, like, the active arrow and all that stuff, right? I understand, but at the same time, it's like, just let them race. Let them race with whatever they got, even if it's not going to be enough to make a huge difference. It would have still made a difference in something. But Monaco, I've told you a million times, like, the only reason it's still there is because it's such an iconic race, and I know for there's no way that it's not where
It's
many
the
many
money.
business deals happen. That's where a
Yeah,
lot of sponsorships are
it's the
happening.
money.
That's where a lot of donations to the team, or whatever it is that's happening. That's where it happens. They make a lot of money there as teams and as drivers. So that's really the only reason that they still do it. I don't think there's a valid reason to continue doing Monaco other than money. Sorry, I'm still getting over this sickness, but I wanted to talk about how slow it got, right? You and I were discussing a strategy before this race happened, like 2 days ago, and we were like, I wonder if any top team has done this, where, because in Monaco you can, and
Mhm.
today the Williams did it.
Mhm.
The Williams, right? Albon, they swap places, right? Albon slows down the pack. Carlos goes in and pits, free pit basically, comes out. They swap back again, and then Albon gets back his place, and everything kind of just moves normally. And you and I were saying, if, like, say Mercedes had had a P1, P2, or Red Bull, or any team that had P1, P2, they could really manipulate this race if they wanted to. We talked about it, and
Mhm.
certain things have to go right, right? No one else can pit right behind you as the first person pitting, whatever. But it's doable. Williams did it in the midfield, so it's less impressive. But I'm just saying, Monaco, if the teams are listening, I would use that strategy if we're up P1, P2, and like George Russell and Kimmy, they're both fighting for the title. It should just be like, okay, let's just take a P1, P2, get those points, and it don't matter who ends up in P1, P2. Let's just do it, you know?
Yeah, it sucks, but it is the most manipulative, like the race that you can manipulate the most because of that.
Yeah.
Because you can't pass each other, so you can easily slow down the whole field. And we talked about it because
Well,
we've
Alonso
seen
did
it
it
done
too.
before. We've seen it done before, but the thing is that because it's done so far back in the field, the stewards and everybody else, they don't really care. But if it was done in the front of the field, trust me, it would be an issue. Immediately, it would
But
be an issue.
I know, but it would be one of those gray areas where it's like, that's great that that's an issue, but people do it
Yeah,
all over the field, so
it would be the last time it would be like
allowed.
they would allow it.
Even in the
Yeah.
back of the field, they'd be like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if someone from the midfield or further back realized what was happening, they could also manipulate and go even slower so that the first guy that comes out from pitting could end up in traffic and all that shit. But regardless, it's a weird anecdote that it was like a funny coincidence that we were talking about it and then it happened. I was like, oh, this is hilarious.
But this is how things have been going on with us. Like it's a good thing that you brought that up because like I want to talk about Mercedes. And I said this at the beginning of the season. I said I would not be surprised if Mercedes has a lot more power and they're just gently turning it up every race because it's a pattern now. I went back and I saw the pattern. Mercedes in practices will look decent, will be on par.
They'll be like top 4.
They'll be top 4, 2, 3, 4, and then in qualies, they just blow them out of the water. Like people can talk about like, oh, Max was like only 400s away. Yeah, but this is Kimi's like second Monaco Grand Prix
Ever.
ever.
Ever, not just the second.
And in Formula One, anyways.
Yeah.
And Max has won it twice.
Yeah.
And this is one of Max's favorite love to hate tracks.
Yeah.
So he loves it when he's out in front, but he hates it when he's not.
Right.
And so to me, it's just like Mercedes was like, we just need a little bit because Mercedes keeps getting news. I don't know whether they're fake news or if they're real news, but they keep getting all these rumors and all these news that like the Mercedes engine is done, that the Mercedes engine is illegal, that the Mercedes is doing something messed up with the engine that other cars aren't getting away with. Mercedes is getting away with a lot of stuff, but it just tells me like it's kind of cementing what I thought in the beginning of like there's only
something
doing
extra
the minimum
off about that.
Yeah, they're only doing the minimum to edge out everybody else, and then in the race you see the car is like I mean Lewis was getting under the car to look at the floor because he can't get it in his head how on that back straight after 19 or 20
they're
that
gone.
car is just
they're gone. Well,
it's
I mean,
gone.
And it was evident. It was super evident in that second start, like you said. I also wanted to talk about one of the bigger things that changed everything in this race, and it completely ruined what I was going to talk about today because the stewards were they were like freaking cops in a speed trap. They were just screwing everybody. You get a damn infraction. You get an infraction. You get they were like Oprah, just handing out penalties to everybody. At one point, I think there was like 6 or 7 at the same time. And I mean, there were so many close calls. I wonder if something was happening with like a technical difficulty with the pit entrance or the exit, because so many cars were getting caught speeding. And yes, a couple of the drivers were newer to F1, but a lot of them they've been in and out of Monaco a lot of times, like Pierre, like Lewis. Like there was a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of like veteran drivers, people with experience with this track. They know this track. They know how to go in and out of the pits, but somehow everyone was getting a time penalty. And I feel like there could be, a speeding in the pit lane penalty. So I feel like there could be something wrong technically. Maybe the little speedometer sensors or whatever they use were off or something. It was just that, and then they were just on it with everybody the whole time. I don't know why isn't every race this heavily monitored and shit? Why Monaco? Just to make it funner? To make it
I
more
think
interesting?
I think they're reaching for ways to make the race
Better.
interesting enough. And also I think that there was a lot of leniency going on like over the years, because I saw that they fined I think it was George £5,000 for like being 0.4 tenths like over the speed limit. I think he was like 60.456 kilometers per hour, and the limit is 60 in the pit. So like the leniency I think is out the window, and it made an impact in this race, because this is the race once again. You guys out there, whoever watches, if you guys want to comment and correct me about it, um, I think they have to do these things to make the race like viable for people to actually want to watch it till the end. I'm not gonna lie. There was a point there where I left to the kitchen, got my breakfast, came back, and the race was the same. I didn't miss a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't miss anything.
And you were gone
I'm
for a
not,
few minutes.
and I was gone for a few minutes. I will tell you this because it needs to be said. I went back to bed for 20 minutes, came back, and I didn't miss anything. That's what Monaco is to me. And I've watched Formula One for a very, very long time. And I still cannot believe that they might have changed the track 20 times in the last 40 years, 50 years. But it's like, get rid of the fucking chicane. Give us a big ass straightaway. And that's all it needs. Just fix that.
We discussed that if they just took that off and made that a full straight from starting from the tunnel all the way down to the very end of that. I still think that with these regs, it might not have been as fun because of the energy drop off, right? But it would make for more passes.
I just want to leave with one last point on my end. I just want to say props to you guys are sons of or results of what happened, but Cadillac and Aston, whichever one of you guys gets the points at the end of the day, congrats. You guys had solid races, Checo and Alonso, in shit boxes.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Because, it is what it is. But if you guys get a point because of all these other penalties, I'm not mad with that. I'm happy for Cadillac, and I'm gonna be happy for Aston, because these two guys, they beat their ass out there every single race. They're not out there in daddy's car like Stroll. They're not out there like just to see like, oh, I just want to be part of the circle, guys.
I just want to have a good weekend and try to make some cool friends.
Yeah. So props to Cadillac and Aston and those two guys, Checo and Alonso. And if you guys disagree or agree, hit us up on the comments on TikTok and YouTube, and I guess we'll catch them on the next one, right?
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Give us a like, give us a follow on all socials, the Backseat Drivers Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.